Hello! Nercoids here with another product review. It's been a little while, I know, but and it's kind of awkward. I'm living in a much nicer apartment, so willing to show it off a little bit more. Yes, it's Christmas time. Happy holidays to you out there. Merry Christmas, New Year's, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Chinese New Year, all of the good stuff. All the best to everyone out there. But this is about a new instrument. It's an instrument I've been wanting to get for a very long time. There was a poll on Facebook by a gentleman called Cory Mura, which I'm tagging in this video. I hope he gets a chance to see this because it's thanks to him that this instrument was possible. He had an open poll for Thomann, which is the place where I got this bass from, to have some left-handed existing models, you know, because they wanted to throw us lefties a bone, and they did. And I suggested this model in particular. Note, the color didn't exist before I suggested it, but I figured since they already had an instrument in this color, it probably would be fairly easy for them to do. And that is a Fiesta Red bass. Yes, this is in the style of a 1954-55 precision bass with the single coil made by Roswell, which is a very, very nice Alnico 5 pickup. Very powerful, you know, high dynamic range, full sound. This is a basswood body in Fiesta Red, although it might not look Fiesta Red right now. I'm going to try and correct that in post-production. And it's a Harley Benton PB 50, left-handed of course, and it is in person. I don't know what it's like for you guys on the video, but in person it's a gorgeous instrument. It plays great. It's got a great two-piece maple neck with a fretboard and the main wood, and it's a very comfortable neck on this thing. A lot of people online would say that it's a very big and thick neck, but I don't find that at all. In fact, I find this very close to a jazz bass neck, just slightly bigger. I know that the nut measures 1 5/8, so that's like either a fat jazz bass or a thin P bass nut. So it's, you know, middle. This thing is almost pretty much stock. You know, you got your typical tone and volume, and the pots work really great on this, even for a budget, you know, instrument. They got a nice taper to them. The only thing I changed that isn't stock on these are these tuning machines. These are by Pingwell. Otherwise, if you don't recognize them, or if you do, they're basically the same machine heads that you'll find on classic vibe basses, and also those Fender reissue Coronado and Starcaster basses as well. They're great tuning machines. They're just as good as Godot, and I would even say go so far as the licensed Hipshot tuning machines, which incidentally are made in Korea by a competitor of Pingwell called HC Tuner or Hang Chang Tuners, and they make, you know, machine heads even for the American series of Fender basses and guitars. This is a great instrument. I would put this up, I would directly compare this actually, especially with those tuning machines, to a Squier Classic Vibe 50s P bass. It's very much the equivalent. The only difference, of course, is that I believe on those Squiers it's a one-piece neck, but the way that they've milled this and they finished this neck, and I mean, they use the exact same type of wood for both the fretboard and for the neck. It feels like a one piece. It's been milled and shaped and finished like a one piece. And I think it's an absolutely killer instrument. I paid, not counting the strings, $216 for this thing shipped. And to Canada, it's a bit more expensive than most other countries that Thomann delivers to. I think in the States, it's like $30 US for shipping. And this bass is like I think it's $110 before. So, you know, for $140 American, you guys can have this bass. For us, $216 Canadian, it's still a steal. you can't. It's even difficult to find a Squier Affinity bass for that price, and I just think it looks absolutely classic. You've got everything you need on here. It sounds great. The only fault that's with this bass, I would have to say, is the fret ends. It's coming out, and that has to do more with the fact that this comes probably from, this was manufactured in a tropical or subtropical climate, and it went to Germany, and then it went to Canada, at the beginning of winter when we had a cold snap here in Montreal, and the fret ends are coming out. That's to be expected, and that you'll find that on instruments on almost any price range anyway. It's a relatively easy fix. A little sandpaper, judiciously done on the ends here, and you got yourself a perfect neck. The fit and finish, including that's a pretty tight neck pocket here. Nothing wobbly. Everything's nice and solid. The bridge is nice and solid. The string tree, which is something that is very often overlooked, it's nice, solid steel. A lot of times on less expensive instruments, it's pot metal, and it has deep grooves in it, and it can screw up your silks. And a lot of times people can break a string, especially if they have to tune in all the time and move strings and whatnot. This is nice and solid. It's almost just like what you would find on a Fender or a high-end Squier. It's a killer instrument for 216 Canadian or 134 American, if you will. I highly recommend it. The video, the audio demo, that is coming right up. I hope you enjoy. It's a simple instrument. It's a tone. It's a volume. I'm going to go through the different reiterations. I'm going to add foam. I'm going to play with a pick, with my finger, and whatnot. Hope you enjoy the video. All right, time for the audio demo. Change of lighting a little bit. Hopefully this looks a little bit more fiesta right on your screens. I'm going to play some tones first without any drum loop or whatsoever, and without using any amp simulation. When the drum loop goes on, I'm going to put an amp simulation just because I find it sounds better anyway. And I'll obviously list what the settings are. So yeah, here's basically the tone. Sorry, I had the foam in because this is like take 2. So this is basically everything wide open. Incidentally, these are GHS Precision flat wound strings, 45 to 105s, my usual set, and they still sound a little zingy because they're brand new. As you can see, I've gotten a little better, but marginally better. This is the tone, of course, completely undampened, and since this is a pretty basic instrument, a tone, volume, well, might as well demonstrate that now. This is tone off. If you notice that it has a little bit of a resonant peak in the mid-range so that it doesn't sound completely like mud, that's what I like about this. And it's a pretty gradual... tone taper to it. Roll on, roll off, if you will. Same thing with the volume. Feels great too. It's a quality instrument. It's great. Drum loop should be starting in a few seconds, and I'm going to kick in, the amp simulation, give you an idea how this thing sounds. And of course, feel free to leave comments, questions, and suggestions below. Here we go. some money notes. All right, time for foam. I usually play flat ones with foam. You know the drill. That's how we do it. Now with a pick. Tone off. Okay, I'm just playing tones now. Anyway, you get a basic idea of what this bass sounds like. In more capable hands, I'm sure this thing would sound phenomenal. I'm still learning. I'm a part-time bassist anyway, and I'm not very good at multitasking. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and of course, feel free to leave questions, comments, and suggestions below. Cheers for now. Happy New Year. Happy holidays, the whole kit and caboodle. Bye for now.